Playing the new Spider-Man on PS4, it's akin to resting in your lover's embrace, post-coitus. It's that moment in high school when you finally get Shakespeare and you realize that we all are Hamlet, victims to the whims of the power-hungry all around us, just hoping to stay centered as life's chaotic boat rocks back and forth. It is, in other words, one of the most perfect video games that I've ever played. When I take a step back and consider the number of Spider-Man games, comics, movies, all of that stuff that I've taken part in, it's a wonder that I even want to play another Spider-Man game, or let alone pay full price. And hopping back into New York City as Spider-Man, it's something that I've done time and time again. But I really have to be honest, even a bad Spider-Man game satisfies some itch that I have. Perhaps it's because I identified with Spider-Man at a young age. I was a nerd. He was a nerd. I got bullied in high school. He got bullied in high school. He got awesome superpowers. I went to college. But the reality of it is, the video games are just a blast to play. So whether you identify with him or not, it's just a great time. The source material that the game draws on, that is the Marvel Universe, it's so incredibly malleable and it's open to reinterpretation. Marvel films, there are heroic stories. They satisfy our craving the same way that the Greek gods did thousands of years ago. And we yearn to see someone exceed the limitations of our fragile earthly frame, even if we have to suspend disbelief through video games or through film to see it happen. It may be safe to say that Spider-Man has limitless iterations, the number of times he's been portrayed in film and video games, and even the comics and the different kind of universes and storylines. As long as it's done well, Spider-Man can always be new and fresh. And in this game, it's done unbelievably well. There's a depth to this game, no matter where you put your attention. The story, the characters, the combat, the locomotion getting around in the game, everything has an immersive approach and an incredible coat of polish. And it's been such a blast hopping back into Peter Parker's world.
Miss you. I can't take this.
You can, and you will.
I'll pay you back soon.
Just ask for help next time. Oh, you are so much like Ben. You have to learn to swallow that Parker pride and accept that you're human, like the rest of us. Martin.
Sorry to interrupt. Just wanted to let you know I'm headed out of town. You're in charge while I'm gone.
Well, you can count on me. How long will you be away?
Really don't know.
Is everything okay?
It's some personal business I've been planning for a while. But please take care of this place. It represents the best part of me.
The newest Spider-Man game on PS4 comes out of the gate with a big old bang. It nails its intro with a few highlights. One, we don't have to watch Ben die. There's an epic fight right off the beginning with the Kingpin. And the locomotion in the game is amazing. It's certainly the best to date. And the game just continues to be good, with a cast of gorgeously rendered characters, villains, friends, an upgrade system that keeps you striving for more. There's new suits and gadgets, and this original story, it leaves you asking why weren't all Spider-Man games done this way, as opposed to trying to pigeonhole themselves into the latest movie that was out there.
Let me see how it looks from the top.
Combat is just a blast. It's a little bit Batman, a little bit Mordor, mixed with its own Spider-Man flair. You won't be viciously beheading folks, but it is kind of fun to kick off the occasional baddie off the roof. And usually you see that they get caught on to the side, but sometimes not. And combat, when it flows well, it's just a blast. I really appreciate that the game is actually challenging on the default difficulty. I feel like Dark Souls was just a great reminder to all developers that you don't have to coddle and accommodate your players. You can challenge them, and it's okay if they lose. And I find myself dying fairly often in this game, so that's actually kind of cool, I think. I actually appreciate that. When I really sit down and think about Spider-Man games and why I've been playing them since the black and white Game Boy, I realize that the key mechanic of Spider-Man games is really locomotion. That's one of the reasons you play these games. Moving through space. And there aren't very many games that you could say that that's the primary appeal. You know, getting from point A to point B. I mean, Max Payne is not primarily about how you walk around, right? It's about shooting. Overwatch, yeah, that's not primarily the goal, is to go around the map. A Madden game, I mean, maybe you're starting to stretch it, but actually I think a game like Mirror's Edge or Tony Hawk, those games are about movement and motion, and those are the primary mechanics. And I think that Spider-Man falls in that kind of weird subgenre. So in a way, it's kind of a new genre of moving through space in a novel way, some kind of simulator that way. And there are a few other games that you could say that is true. You know, there are some other things that I'd like to mention about this game. And one of them is how New York City is depicted. It's rich and it's alive. It's kind of crazy to see rats scurrying around sometimes. And I think it would have been kind of cool to have more like really colorful characters and like some crazy people. Although you do spend some time at a homeless shelter. And, you know, it's kind of interesting as you walk through the streets. Like, people come up to you and they ask for selfies, or they just tell you that your costume looks stupid and that you shouldn't be trying to impersonate Spider-Man. There's a lot of really kind of fun stuff that happens just through walking through the city. And it's the first time that I can say that it really felt like a living embodiment of New York City in a Spider-Man game. I also really like the humor. I mean, sometimes the writing for Spider-Man games are just awful, but this one has been really funny. I particularly enjoyed Spider Cop. He gets all gruff and sounds like kind of Batman. I just like that the humor runs deep in this game. And I also really appreciated the suit designs. There's a lot of really cool suits in this game. They each give a unique ability when you fill up your focus gauge, but they look awesome. And it's kind of cool. You could pick one suit, but then get the ability of a different suit. So you can actually pick the suit that looks the coolest to you. You're not kind of pigeonholed that way. The side story interludes, they're quite interesting, and they really flesh out the action game to make it almost, and I'd like to emphasize almost, make it feel like an RPG. Playing as MJ from time to time, visiting Aunt May at that homeless shelter, it all really adds weight to this story, and it adds a rich complexity to the characters who could have otherwise been very blandly portrayed. The boss fights are really cool. I mean, there's a lot at stake with each boss fight, and every boss fight feels unique and challenging and interesting. Sort of like, I don't know, almost like The Stranger, you know, in the new God of War, how that boss fight really set the tone for the rest of the game. I felt like the fight with the Kingpin was something fairly similar. It was not quite as epic as that, but still a great way to come out the gate. So all in all, I have to say that I appreciate this video game, and I appreciate what the Marvel Universe is doing, kind of for our need for these superheroes, for these larger-than-life characters. And if you hurry through the game, it's going to take around 15 hours, but this is the kind of game where you should really take your time, explore, wander, see what there is, and kind of go for the side quests and all of the collectibles and all of that stuff. I cannot recommend this game enough. Whether you wait for it till it's on sale or you pick it up right away, you're gonna really enjoy this new Spider-Man game, this new experience. Thanks a lot, guys, for hanging out with me. Till next time, this is the Chill Gamer signing off and wishing you a happy swinging time in NYC. Later, party people.